What is going on, guys? It is Daniel Wright, and you are here listening to another episode of Paving the Way. Happy Wednesday to you. Glad to have you here. As always, I hope your week is off to a great start. I hope you've got a jammed-packed back half of your week, or maybe you have a relaxing back half of your week if you're going on vacation for the summer. I don't know. But either way, I hope things are going great. I appreciate you tuning in yet again for episode 169 of Paving the Way. And today, I'm talking about two of my favorite things. Some would even call them hobbies: golf and business, right? If you haven't been living under a rock for the last couple of years, you've probably realized that golf has become this huge interest, especially amongst the younger-ish individuals, in the 20s and 30s age range, to get out and go play and socialize and have a great old time. Obviously, I think back in 2020, when all we could do was outside activities 6 feet apart from each other, was when this really kicked into play. But nonetheless, I've jumped on the bandwagon over the last 2 years. My wife, Kelsey, has jumped on the bandwagon over the last year or so. And we've made some great friends through playing golf. And we've made some great business connections through playing golf. We've had a great time with it. But most recently, the reason I'm talking about it this week is because I had the opportunity to play in a golf tournament. I've played in a couple this year, competitive tournaments. And mind you, guys, for anyone who knows me, you already know this, but if you don't, I'm not that great, okay? I'm still in the 20s for a handicap, which means I score very high when I play golf. But nonetheless, I like being competitive. I always have a little bit of a competitive nature about me, and so I've tried out the competitive golf world this year. Well, recently, I was able to take home a victory for my division, which is typically like the lowest level players, like most entry level, whatnot. But hey, a win's a win, and we're going to take it where we can get it. But as I was thinking about playing this round of golf, I couldn't help but compare it to business and the day-to-day struggles and the obstacles that we have to overcome in business every day are not all that different when it comes to golf. Whether it's the mentality, whether it's the consistency, or whether it's the preparation that have to go into both of them in order to come out victorious on the other side. So I want to dive into a few of those different topics on how golf and business are not all that different. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, guys, welcome back. Like I said before the intro video that I'll go ahead and give another shout out to Mr. Randy for putting that thing together. I always enjoy watching it. Even just the basic soundtrack to it gets me excited and in the zone to be able to talk to you guys and hopefully deliver a little bit of value. But nonetheless, we're talking about golf and business this week. So if you don't like either of those things, you probably will not like this episode, and you can scroll on to the next one. But if you do like either of those things or both of them, then this might be entertaining and educational, which I think sometimes we call that like edutaining or something like that. I'm not really sure what Randy and them call it in marketing. But nonetheless, I want to provide a little bit of value on what my thoughts have been when it comes to relating golf and business. Early this year, when I was putting in a lot more effort, I still continue to put in effort, but I started putting in more effort into getting better at golf out on the course and getting more critical of my game and trying to figure out what's going on, how I can improve, so on and so forth. I started realizing that my obsession with golf is very much related to my obsession with business. And somewhat sarcastically, I was telling one of my buddies, I was like, I see why all the high achievers go out here and play golf, because we just love to torture ourselves and try and set goals that we just can't achieve and then beat ourselves up when we don't achieve them. And then we wake up the next day and come back for more because we think it's fun, right? So like if you're in business ownership or leadership, high-level management, sales, whatever it may be, you are very similar to that. You like the self-torture, what some regular people call the challenge that you set for yourself. You enjoy it. It excites you. It drives you. And golf is a very similar sport, right? Because it's you versus you. It's you playing to your abilities and you bringing the game time in and time out consistently and making the shots and showing up and shaking off the bad ones, so on and so forth, that you have to make things happen. But the end results whether it's your golf game or your business game, only come through consistency, not big flashy wins in moments, right? They say like the flash in the pan is what sometimes people in business refer to it as. In golf, it could just be like the one big drive you have, or the big 30-foot putt that you sink, or the great green approach shot, whatever it might be. Those one shots, the one shot wonders, the flash in the pan, the whatever it may be, is not what's going to drive wins. Okay. In golf, you must have a consistent string of good shots, right? And every now and then you might have one that's not great mixed in there, but your consistency of good shots and the occasional great shot that is flashy, that is exciting, that keeps that momentum pushing, is what's going to ultimately drive you to victory. Similar to in business, you cannot have a successful year of just a handful of great sales or great contracts or great accomplishments. You have to consistently deliver on those great sales, those great accomplishments, those great projects. And if you do not realize that the game, being golf or business, is about consistency, you'll just be playing this constant up and down battle that you're up on the peaks and you're like, oh, this is great, we're doing so awesome. And the next thing you know, you're asking yourself why you even do this, because it's so bad. When instead, the boring but consistent game is what's going to win. And so, case in point, the slight story I'll tell you here about the tournament that I played in is I was just telling one of the guys that I work with about it, and he was like, well, like, tell me about it. And I said, honestly, man, it was kind of boring. It wasn't super exciting. I didn't have any like big, amazing drives or putts or anything like that. I just played par bogey golf, so I was hitting par or one over. I had one hole where I had a triple bogey out of all 18, but otherwise it was kind of boring. Just played the ball down the hole each time, and just played my game. But it reminded me that the consistency of just playing the game, it didn't have to be big and flashy, and just getting the consistent shots, the consistent results, is what ultimately led to being able to be victorious in that tournament. No different than what we do day in and day out in our business and in our jobs is the monotony, the consistency of the things that we know we need to do to achieve the results we need to achieve is what's going to get those end and final results we desire to get. So the consistency beats the flashy moments every time. Item number 2, mental resilience under pressure in golf and mental resilience under pressure in business are extremely similar. Okay. In golf, every golfer faces the tough lies, the tough shots. They hit a bad shot. They have to, come down off the high from a great shot, whatever it is. They look at the leaderboard or whatever, right? Whatever challenge, whatever mental challenge they're facing, they have to overcome it. In business, all the owners, the leaders, the salespeople, they face setbacks. They face times where they're up against, a big obstacle, or they feel like their back's up against the wall, or kind of forced into a corner between a rock and a hard place, or they didn't get that deal closed that they thought what they were going to get, that the client said they were going to use you. They said they were just waiting on the signature from their boss, and then boom, next thing you know, they say they went a different direction, right? So in golf and in business, we have unexpected setbacks, unexpected challenges that get into our heads that we have to overcome, okay? And I'll tell you right now, when I played in this tournament, I had been playing pretty consistently, and I had found myself in a position that I said, all right, well, I just hit another shot. I line right up on that thing. I top the heck out of it. It goes about 50 feet in front of me, and I say, yep, that's golf. That's where we're at, okay? And then when I walk up to the ball, because I didn't get in the cart and drive because it was only, like I said, 50 feet in front of me. When I walk up to the ball for my next shot, I'm telling myself, all right, Daniel, here's your next shot. Let's go ahead and hit this how we need to hit it. The mental resiliency of being able to brush off what just happened, 60 seconds prior to that, and approach this new opportunity for this new shot with the intentions to do what I know I'm capable of doing, allowed me to take that ball and set it right up next to the green where it needed to be. No different than when I'm in sales on a day-to-day basis in my day job, because thank goodness that I have a day job because I could not make a living playing golf. But when I'm in sales day-to-day in my day job, I have to make sure that just because I get a phone call that comes in that says, hey, we had a piece of equipment get damaged, it's going to cost us $3,000 to fix it. Or I get a client that calls me and says, hey, we're actually not going to be using you guys for this project. We're going a different direction. Or I get a person that calls me and says, hey, I've got a problem with XYZ, right? You name it. The obstacle shows up when you least expect it. I have to have the mental resilience and the mental fortitude to handle that issue, to handle that obstacle, reset, and then move on to the next task at hand. Because if I get stuck in that, and if I get stuck dwelling on the obstacle that comes up in the business, or if I get stuck dwelling on the bad shot that I have in the round of golf, what does that do to how I'm perceiving the next thing I have to handle? It jades the vision of it. It clouds it. It taints it, right? It puts a bad image in your mind of what's going to come next. And when people talk about the game of golf, they talk a lot about the mental side of golf. They talk about how important it is to be able to have that mental control over every shot you're going to take. That doesn't mean you sit and overthink it. It doesn't mean you sit and drown yourself in it. It doesn't mean you dwell in it. It just means that you have the mental control over what you're about to do. And it is no different in business that if you find yourself dwelling in it, you find yourself ruminating in it, you have given the control over your next steps to whatever negative just happened previously. But the flip side of that is the great things can happen, like I said before. The flashy moments happen. The big shots in the round of golf happen. The big contracts get signed. You have to have the mental resilience to bring yourself back down to reality and know that that one big win, that one big shot, that one big contract will not and is not going to define your entire year or your entire round or your entire month or day or week or whatever metric you're measuring on. You have to have the mental resilience to come down from the highs in a reasonable amount of time to then just go back to doing the monotony, to go back to doing the consistent steps that you need to hit in order to get the consistent results. So don't let the negative things that happen in your golf game or your business game cause you to make knee-jerk reactions, right? To continue to make smart decisions despite the previous results that you wound up with. The last thing that I want to touch on here is the preparation determines the performance, right? Like I told you guys, I've taken up golf in a more serious manner in the fact that, maybe I go out and I practice or I play, 2 times a week on average. I try to get out. I try to swing the club. I try to practice putting. I try to look up different drills and training things that I can do at the range or at the putting green to really work on trying to improve my game. And just, you guys can save the laughs. I'm not trying to go pro here, but I at least want to play a respectable round of golf. Okay. And so that's why I want to get better. When I put my mind to something, I want to actually achieve something. I want to accomplish something with it. And so I've put in the effort to do that. And I've been doing it for the last 2 years. I spend time learning about it. I spend time looking at the courses before I go play them. Because let's face it, it's 2025. We've got the technology to go hole by hole on about any course in the world using an app on my phone, sitting on my couch the night before I go play it. And I can see what the hole is going to look like, how to approach this, what club would I hit off the tee shot here to put me in a good position to hit the green on the next shot. What do I want to avoid when I'm going to the green so I make sure I play it safe and don't end up in a hazard, right? I prepare for these rounds. When I get to the golf course, I have a routine, a consistent, monotonous, mundane routine to warm myself up and prepare myself for the round that I'm going to play. In business, I have a monotonous routine that I follow day in and day out to make sure that I show up as adequately prepared as possible. It doesn't always mean it's perfect, but I can always promise you that there's the effort put in to prepare before I show up. Because let's face it, right? We've all had the golf rounds, if we play golf, where we go from parking lot to tee box, pull a ball out, throw it on the ground, hit that thing. We say, well, glad I get 2 because that was terrible. And we've all had the business meetings, the sales calls, the leadership meetings, whatever it is, that we show up for disheveled and discombobulated because we didn't adequately prepare for it. And we kind of feel like an idiot in front of our team, in front of our client, or just to ourselves because we know we could have done better. And so we have to make sure that we're constantly putting in the effort to prepare for what's coming ahead. We have the resources, we have the tools, we have the abilities to make sure that we're showing up prepared and ready, whether it's on the golf course or in the boardroom, right? On the tee box or on the job site, on the putting green or in the office, making the phone calls. Wherever you're at, you have the opportunity and you have the responsibility to make sure that you're showing up prepared and ready to deliver your best efforts. Because if you don't, the only person you will have to blame when you don't get the results that you desire is yourself. And so that's why I've made the effort to show up prepared at my business, as prepared as possible. And I've made the effort to show up as prepared as possible at the golf course. And I know, guys, some of you guys that are my friends or family, you may be thinking, geez, Daniel goes off, he plays one tournament, he does well, and he wants to do a whole podcast about it. Sure, because it's my podcast and I can do what I want. But the reality of it is, like I said, I've been making comparisons to golf and business for quite a long time. And I've seen a lot of you guys out there, my colleagues, other contractors, business folks, clients, vendors, whatever it is. I've seen a lot of you guys on social media enjoying taking up the sport of golf. And I figure, why not, as we're in the summertime and, I'm sure people have had their rounds put in and they're looking forward to fall golf where it gets a little bit cooler, a little bit more enjoyable outside. But why not actually bring the comparison to light? Because let's face it, if I see you out on the golf course, not hammered drunk because you actually care about playing the game, if I see you out on the course, I'm going to automatically assume that you probably push yourself to a little bit of a higher level than what most other people do. And I'm not saying that there's not other sports, not other activities that require this same level of commitment, but golf specifically is you versus you. You're showing up every time you play to play against yourself and to get a little bit better. And I can say the same thing that if I see you in business, in leadership roles, in sales roles, in roles that depend on you showing up and getting the results that you and your team needs, you probably put a little bit more weight on yourself than the rest of the people around you. And I applaud you for it. So next time you're standing over the ball, ready to take a swing, or next time you're getting ready to make that phone call, or next time you're getting ready to send that contract out for approval, or next time you're standing over the putt that you're hoping to drain for one of your best scores ever, remember these things. That the consistency is what's getting you the results, not the big flashy, great shots or big contracts. The mental resilience that you have under pressure when things aren't going great and how you recover from that. The bad shot that goes flying into the woods that you'll never see the ball again, or the contract that gets turned down that you could have swore was one in the pocket. How you turn around from that is what's going to define the results. And making sure that you show up prepared when the people count on it, whether it's you are counting on yourself to show up prepared on the golf course, or your team is counting on you to show up prepared for the meeting, the project, the call, whatever it might be. That's in your hands. So take these comparisons, have a little bit of fun with it. I'd be curious to know if you've ever compared golf to business or golf to leadership or golf to whatever else, because let's face it, like I said, there's a phenomenon going on around us that everybody's interested in golf right now. And I think they should be because it's pretty freaking fun. So if you want to get around in, if you want to talk business, if you want to do both of those things at the same time, let me know. I'd be happy to have you. I look forward to seeing how my golf game progresses, because I can honestly say as the golf game is increasing, the business is right there with it. I don't think that's a coincidence if you ask me. But guys, as always, I hope this provided some value. Typically, you can always follow us along on our social media for the business or for my personal pages. I always drop the links in the notes here on the post. So go ahead and follow those. Give us a share. Give us a follow. Go ahead and give me your feedback on this. I'm always open to it. But nonetheless, guys, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And as always,